ISUPK.
The kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him.
Yeah, that's a beautiful precept, Doc, and that's what we're working for in the Israelite School of UPK. Start from the top.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 27. And the kingdom and dominion.
Domino, and the kingdom and dominion. Keep going.
And the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven.
And the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. Now, this is just describing the kingdom of heaven that we've all dreamed about in some way. We've all heard about. Everyone, for your entire life, you probably had some idea of what heaven would be like. Some idea of it. You might have thought, you had to die to get there. You might have had different ideas about it. But one thing that usually rings the same through everyone's imagination of heaven is that it is completely opposite to the pain you had to suffer here. That we share that universally. That thought of there's no dying, no death, no violence, no harm. There's a place like that. The Bible talks about that place, which is why it's all in our collective memory, that we know that there is a possibility of a place of peace that could be had by the children of God, that the saints of God could have a place where there's peace. And that concept has been given to slaves all throughout time and generation. Slaves have always held on to that because slaves have been the people who needed the hope of heaven the most, who needed to have some idea of, could there be something better than this field, than this death? You have that story I gave you about this woman. It was on, the Dred Scott decision. I sent you a Dred Scott decision, which I meant to go through tonight. I'll do it tonight or Thursday if we have time. But there was a woman whose case came up in the Supreme Court right before the Dred Scott decision. And if you understand heaven, first I want you to understand hell. Okay? The brother will find the woman's name, right? But the Dred, say again?
Margaret Garner.
Margaret Garner. I don't even know if I can read it. It's difficult for me to read this story. I'll give it a shot tonight, but it's hard for me to read this story, all right? Margaret Garner, first of all, the Dred Scott decision was a decision where the Supreme Court affirmed that slaves could never be American citizens, that the writers of the Constitution never intended for slaves to be considered citizens. And it was because Dred Scott was taken from the South to, I believe, Wisconsin or the Midwest somewhere. And when he got to Wisconsin, because Wisconsin was not a slave state, he affirmed that now he was free because Wisconsin said, well, whatever slave comes to Wisconsin is free. But at the same time, they had slave catchers in the South that would leave the South and go find you wherever you were. Wisconsin said they would not allow slave catchers to come into Wisconsin. They used states' rights to stop slave catchers. So then because of this slave that said, I'm in Wisconsin, I do not want to go back to the South with my master, I am free. Well, this case went all the way through the Supreme Court for years it took to get there. And finally, the Dred Scott decision was, you have to go back to the South. Wisconsin was wrong to ever let you stay.